What defines a minority versus a majority ethnic group? Imagine walking through a neighborhood where some groups seem to hold most of the influence and power, while others have a smaller voice. That's what we're talking about today. When we look at ethnic groups in the United States, it's not just about how many people belong to each group. It's about who holds social, political, and economic power. A minority ethnic group is defined mainly by its lack of power and influence compared to the dominant group. Even if a minority group has a large number of people, they can still be considered a minority if they don't hold much control or social status. For example, African Americans, Hispanics, Asians, and American Indians are often seen as minority groups because they have historically faced social disadvantages. The key difference between a minority and a majority group is social status. The majority group, often non-Hispanic whites in the United States, has more influence over institutions like government, businesses, and media. They tend to have better access to resources, education, and political representation. Even if a minority group is larger in some areas, they might still have less power overall. Another important factor is cultural identity. Minority groups usually have distinctive traits like language, religion, customs, or physical features that set them apart from the majority. These differences help define their group identity and often become a source of pride and community cohesion. Population size is not the only thing that matters. In some parts of the country, minority groups make up the majority of the population. These are called majority-minority regions. But nationally, the non-Hispanic white population remains the largest and most influential group. Social subordination is also a big part of what makes a group a minority. This can mean lower income levels, fewer political seats, and limited access to quality education and jobs. These systemic inequalities keep minority groups from having the same opportunities as the majority. Membership rules also play a role. Minority groups often have clear ways of defining who belongs, like descent or heritage. They tend to keep their group boundaries through practices like marrying within the group or maintaining cultural traditions. In the United States, understanding these differences helps us see how social power shapes daily life. Laws like the Voting Rights Act aim to give minority groups fair chances to elect representatives and have their voices heard. The Census tracks these groups to help shape policies and distribute resources fairly. So, in simple terms, a minority group is not just about numbers. It's about social power, cultural identity, and experiences of social subordination. The majority group holds more influence and control, while minority groups often face challenges that come from systemic inequalities. Recognizing these differences helps us understand the diverse fabric of American society and the ongoing efforts to promote fairness and inclusion.